So I'm gonna start this off by saying that for the most part, microtransactions have no business in single-player games. There are obvious exceptions, free-to-play stuff or small indie developed stuff that was not priced expensive to begin with and you just want to buy little doohickeys here and there, that's fine. But for a AAA single-player narrative-driven game that costs $60 already, microtransactions probably have no business being in it. With that being said, when Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out, it was bombarded with all these news stories from the media, from YouTubers, so on and so forth about microtransactions, and Ubisoft intentionally made the game more grindy so you were forced to buy a $10 XP boost. And I thought to myself, man, that is really grimy if that is in fact what they did, and why the hell are there microtransactions in a game like this? And I chose to stay out of the conversation obviously because I did not have any experience with the game. I don't want to talk about something that I'm not familiar with. So instead I waited in the sidelines as article after article, video after video came out about this subject. Then there was this whole ordeal about Jason Schreier, news editor at Kotaku, going on Twitter and saying, "It's sad how YouTube facilitates this culture where people toss around words like exploitative and predatory without really thinking about what they mean. Assassin's Creed Odyssey's microtransactions are at worst annoying. They're not a cancer on the video game industry." So a lot of people took this as him defending microtransactions and taking jabs at YouTubers for one reason or another. And if I'm gonna be completely honest, I was in that same boat where I'm just like, what are you doing? Why are you defending microtransactions, man? But being that I had not spent as much time with the game as I needed to make an assessment as to whether or not the microtransactions were egregious in this game or not, I did not make a video about it. I did not chime in this conversation, I just let it happen. The person that decided to go back and forth with Jason Schreier on this subject was Nick Doyle, and this was his first response. "It's sad that exploitative and predatory practices are so vigorously defended. These things aren't just put in a game. The game is designed around this monetization. What's only annoying to you can prey on many others." And this was the general belief that was going around at the time, is that they designed the game to be much more grindy than it had to be in order for you to feel the need to buy these $10 XP boosters. So Jason responds with, "It's really hard to imagine anyone playing the game for 25 hours, taking their time to explore and do side quests, and still feeling this way." Nick Doyle responds with, "It shouldn't be hard since playing a game for a long time and thinking microtransactions are still predatory are not mutually exclusive in any way." See, this is what I'm talking about, lack of perspective. If you want predatory, look at gacha games, look at loot box pulls and mobile money sinks. Those are specifically tailored to appeal to gambling addicts. That's predatory. AC Oddyssey's XP boosters are not. I understand there are more extreme versions of microtransactions that are more obviously worthy of scorn. I do not, however, believe that things such as XP boosters get a pass because they are better than the way worse loot boxes or such. The game is still made for them. Yes, and they make that little voice in your head wonder, was this designed this way because of microtransactions? But then you actually play AC Oddyssey and you realize that no, it wasn't. It's a fucking great game. Microtransactions can be predatory, but they're not here. Then with the conversation winding down, Nick Doyle responds with, "I simply don't believe that a game being fun or great means that many people aren't being preyed upon or that the game wasn't negatively impacted by microtransaction additions. Either way, thank you for your attention. An interesting discourse." To which Jason Schreier responds with, "There's a nuanced conversation to be had about whether the sheer existence of microtransactions makes a video game worse, but YouTube culture, and the shrieking about how every single microtransaction is predatory and exploitative has made that conversation hard to find." So naturally I was on Nick Doyle's side when I did not have a lot of time with the game yet. But currently I'm 50 hours into the game and I feel like I'm in a position where I can actually talk about this and bring something to the table. So after 50 hours of playing the game, I'm 37% through the story, I'm level 45, almost level 46, and the level cap is 50. So in 4 levels and a half roughly, I'm not going to be getting any more XP. And I still have a ton of story to do. And unlike Origins, this does not have that system where after you hit level 50, you can keep leveling up and get that 1% stat increase per level after level 50. You're just done. So right now, I'm wondering what the hell was the big deal about these XP booster things. I mean, if I had the XP booster, I would have been maxed out way before. And for what reason? I have not found the need to be higher level than I ever was. And soon I'm gonna be at the point where I'm like, I got way too much XP. Now I'm just getting XP that's going to waste because it's not gonna go towards anything. So the idea that these microtransactions are predatory by any means is just a complete fallacy. I mean, I'll be fair, I'm playing on nightmare difficulty, so I get more XP than somebody playing on easy, but why the hell would you play on easy? This game is already easy. So I mean, I don't understand. So I don't agree at all that the microtransactions in this game are predatory or exploitative by any means. I'm getting way more XP than I would like, actually. I feel like I should turn the difficulty down just so I slow down my XP gain, because what the hell? So looking back on all of this now that I've had this experience with the game, similar to the Spider-Man PS4 puddle thing, I feel like one person jumped the gun about them being in the game at all, and they're like, oh, XP booster, they must have made the game grindy, so you would have to buy these, and then everybody else jumped on that bandwagon. The other main argument being thrown around is like, oh, it's because I just want to get through the story, and I'm never high enough level to just do the next story mission. Well, I feel like you would be if you played a higher difficulty, but alright, that's fair, but what if they just changed the way the game was designed so you would have to do a couple of side quests in between every story mission? Wouldn't that be the exact same thing? It's just in this game, it's just the open world element where you go and do those things off to the side and then come back to the main story arc. Other games have done this. I mean, you might not remember, but Grand Theft Auto was pretty similar in that sense that it's not all main story. All of a sudden you'll have to do some side stuff before you get back into that main storyline. It's just in Odyssey, instead of holding your hand and saying, oh, you have to go do this before you can get back on this story, it's just letting you go off and explore and do whatever the hell it is that you feel like doing, then come back to the main story. And I prefer it this way, so I hope that they don't go to that system where it's like, okay, pause the main story, now do these specific side missions before you can get back to the next story mission. Other arguments were that there are weapons and armor in the microtransaction store, and if you need those, God help you, because the game gives you so much gear as it is. I don't know. Again, I just don't see what the big deal ever was. Maybe I'm just not looking at it from the right perspective. I mean, a lot of these bigger YouTubers or media outlets get review copies days in advance, and they're rushing to get the game done so they can do a proper review, and maybe in that constraint they don't have that time and they feel like the microtransactions were predatory in that nature because it would have helped them beat the game faster so they could do a review sooner, and everything else was just a snowball of bandwagon-y smaller YouTubers and so on and so forth. I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate now and trying to look at it from their perspective. But that's my final verdict on this. I do not see the microtransactions as a problem in this game. In fact, if for whatever reason you chose to buy these, I'm sorry dude, you got suckered, because there's absolutely no reason, in my opinion, to buy anything in the microtransaction store. Saying that the game was designed around these monetizations is especially absurd. I mean, it was probably designed around the idea that you would want to explore the world that they created, which is not really much of a stretch. I really do hope that they patch the game to let you keep leveling up after 50, because I don't know, I'm like losing the motivation to hit level cap right now, knowing that it's not like Origins. I hope they make it like it so I can just keep adding that 1% attribute gain per level after. We'll see. But what do you guys think? Are the microtransactions really as bad as everybody made it out to be based on your own personal experience? Because I don't, like I said. Let me know down in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and share this video with whoever you want to share it with. If you're new around here, subscribe with notifications to be notified about all upcoming videos. I do these gaming news and discussion videos at least once a week, so make sure to subscribe and ring that bell to stay on top of that. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.